Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Progressive Discussions. Yes, this is Progressive Discussions, and my name is James P. Madonna, and I am with my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, at the Newsletter Censored Research Center in northeastern New Jersey. And it is Saturday, October 8th, 2011.
Yes.
Better be the 8th.
It's the 8th.
I don't want to look like a fool. Anyway, oh, by the way, how are you today, sir? Dr. Bill?
Pretty good, pretty good.
It is an unseasonably balmy Indian summer day. Hiya, 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 how you doing, hiya. Hiya, hiya. Indian summer. It is, it feels warm. I guess it feels like it's what?
It's going to be like 77.
77? And not 77 Sunset Strip, but 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And tomorrow it's supposed to be in the low to mid 80s.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Sunday, Domingo, as they say in Spanish.
Yep.
But what are you gonna do? That's what they call Indian summer. The Yankees, of course, blew it. They had Game 5 with the Detroit Tigers, and all of those overpaid, overrated prima donnas, many of them over the hill, they failed. Like Mr. Alex Rodriguez, the one that's sucking up most of the money. A-Rod has a million excuses. His head was held down low. He felt very bad about not performing, and he should have. But I think it's the problem with A-Rod. He's got his mind too much on partying and banging all of those Hollywood sluts.
Excuse me.
All those girlfriends, all those chickie poos that he knows, like Cameron Diaz, even though they broke up. All those Hollywood diva sluts he's thinking about, and playing high-stakes poker. Somebody told me they saw A-Rod with a big cigar sticking out of his mouth playing high-stakes poker. So, all in all, between that and Derek Jeter doing commercials, but I don't want to pick on Jeter because he plays very hard and old school style, and I'm very impressed with Curtis Granderson. Those two fantastic Willie Mays style, 100% dedication catches he made in the outfield during the playoffs. I salute Curtis Granderson. I think he hit, give or take, 40 home runs this year. I don't know the exact amount, but those diving catches he made were extremely impressive. That is a dedicated athlete. He's very nice. He's very respectful and humble. He's not arrogant when he gets interviewed, and he's a salt of the earth, real old school athlete that kids can look up to. Curtis Granderson. Great, fantastic, all-around baseball player. One of the best, in my opinion. I wish him the best of luck. But those other guys, fire them all. Get rid of them. They suck. Nick Swisher, he doesn't perform well in the playoffs for some reason. He's always cracking jokes like me. But you know what? If you're going to crack jokes all the time and be a comedian like James P. Madonna, that's good. But you got to produce. You're getting paid a lot of money. These athletes today with their agents get paid a tremendous amount of money compared to the legends of the past, like Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, Honus Wagner, Stan Musial, and the Ty Cobb. I mean, they get paid an obscene amount of money. So I believe the owners have every right to expect them to perform to an optimum level. Then, of course, the prices of baseball tickets are totally obscene.
That's why we have inflation in the tickets and etc. is because of the high price salaries, which cause everything else to go up. It's called inflation.
Oh, that's an excuse to jack up everything. Oh, sure, inflation. A friend of mine online from his online internet name is Red Rooster. He's originally from Rhode Island. He said that he can't afford to go to Fenway Park with his kids. It'll cost him $500 for one day at Fenway Park. Who ever heard of such an obscene price to see a baseball game? It's ridiculous, and and people should boycott. People should boycott any industry in America that's ripping them off. Now, do Americans boycott? Do they know the power of the boycott? Of course not. They're idiots. Recently, with Occupy Wall Street, apparently the store owners, the small store owners in the area of Wall Street, are bitching and moaning that the protesters are using their lavatories, their bathrooms, and making a complete mess of the bathrooms, of the restrooms,
and not buying anything.
Not buying anything, and some of them are college students. And young men that are in college are sloppy. So what happened was, I think one of them overflowed the toilet or whatever. They're not buying anything. They're pigs. But the same token, they should kind of go easy on the protesters and be more supportive, because the tax burden that the Occupy.org organization is fighting about, the tax burden is on the middle class. And who are the store owners that are complaining about the protesters? They are technically middle class.
By the way, whatever happened to the toilets that were out on the streets at one time in New York City?
Did Mayor Bloomballs, did right-wing Republican, even though some people insist that he is not right-wing, he's still a Republican, and he's still a billionaire. Did Mayor Bloomberg remove the porta potties?
Somebody did.
Somebody removed the porta potties. And of course you had way back when, you had the fascist attack on the college co-ed girls that were peacefully protesting. They got maced. But the point is, the people that own the stores near Wall Street are middle class. But they're complaining about the protesters. So it's like the middle class people that are not in a high tax bracket bitching and moaning about liberals and progressives, and they vote Republican. Meanwhile, the conservative Republicans do not have their best interest because they are not elitists. They're not wealthy. So why do they continue to defend the Republicans and the Tea Party and continue to attack progressive liberals?
Well, conservative propaganda over the last 30-some years has created that. They make the poor fight against themselves. Oh, you got a little bit more than me.
Oh, yeah, really?
Oh, wait, I only get so much from Social Security. You get a couple dollars more. Hey, ooh, wow, oh, hey. You know?
People are so stupid. And Americans...
Instead of fighting with the guys on top.
Yeah, and Americans...
who got a hell of a lot more than you.
And Americans are such fools, But anyway, I have an idea. I was thinking last night, instead of me racking my brains trying to think of a really good, catchy title for the new Progressive Discussion show, why don't we just allow the articles to make that decision? The two most important articles that you read today, me or you collectively, will just say, you know what, these are the two most important articles, and let's name the show according to the two most important articles that you read at random. So the show will be totally unplanned, totally unrehearsed, completely ad-libbed, including the title of the show. So what do you think of that idea? Let the randomly selected articles decide the title or the tittle of the show.
Sounds okay.
Sounds wise instead of me going nuts, you know. But anyway, this is my prop. It is an authentic blackthorn shillelagh imported from Ireland, and it has political significance. Plus, I like it. It's a beautiful natural art item. Like Kenny Rogers said for his Kenny Rogers roasters, it's the wood that makes it good. And hopefully, this blackthorn shillelagh will be destined for the skulls of right-wing fundamentalists, holy roller, counterfeit Christian, conservative Republicans.
By the way, am I incorrect here, or were you speaking on Facebook chat to Hank Williams Jr.?
No.
Well, how come he said okay to you?
No, I don't know Hank Williams Jr. I saw...
I told you your chat comes up as soon as I go on my Facebook
But
page.
Hank Williams...
He said okay to you.
Hank Williams, the profile or the promo page for Hank Williams Jr. appeared almost like phishing or spam. Appeared in front of my face. For a split second, I did not select it, and I simply closed the page. I did not have a conversation with Hank Williams, but the okay came from Mr. Carl Richards, who is the co-host of Keeping Country Strong, Public Access 23, Time Warner Cable, Port Jervis, New York. The award-winning Keeping Country Strong. Carl Richards, in his profile photo, has I believe a Western hat, and he has his own band called Carl Richards Band.
He certainly looks like Hank Williams Jr.
And he did say okay. I sent him something that I thought was very funny, and he often answers me with an okay. I guess not everybody has the same sense of humor.
Okay.
You know. So anyway, that was that. Now, the first article.
Alfred P. Yeah, the first article is going to deal with your friend,
Who's that?
Mr. Governor Christie
Oh God.
of New Jersey.
El Boluno boy.
Alfred P. Doblin makes an interesting comparison between Governor Christie and Teddy Roosevelt. There are several similarities,
Oh really?
but the most important point
People
sabotages the comparison.
People kiss his ass big time, and that's a big ass to kiss. So there's a lot of room for kisses.
There is no way that Teddy Roosevelt would have had anything to do with the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers are spending tens of millions of dollars in an attempt to destroy democracy in the United States. Their goal is to destroy unions, destroy progressive taxation, and destroy environmental laws. Christie spoke at a Koch brothers rally in Colorado. He basks in their praise and would have relied on their money in a presidential race. Although Teddy Roosevelt was not the trustbuster of popular mythology, he most certainly wanted to regulate big business and also protect the environment. When Teddy Roosevelt spoke of malefactors of great wealth, he was speaking of men like the Koch brothers. Their anti-environment, anti-government beliefs would have made them Teddy Roosevelt's political enemies.
I hope the Koch brothers have a very huge and very effective security force, because the asses of the masses, how would they like the asses of the masses to drag them out of their mansions and beat the shit out of them?
Ooh.
Wouldn't that be a great fantasy?
And more on Governor Christie.
Governor Christie. I don't know why people idolize him so much. Is it because he's got a big pair of brass balls, and he's obnoxious?
Or pretends to.
Yeah.
Governor Christie's roadshow affirms my belief that the American public has an unquenchable thirst for misinformation.
That's for sure.
He is a leader in the current and escalating plutocratic war against the working class.
I like this guy who wrote this article. He's right on the money.
They want to take us back to the robber baron era and pre-depression days. While these folks have enjoyed the greatest accumulation of wealth, they have depressed wages and benefits on those who brought us a 58% increase in productivity and the huge increase in profits. They have mounted a huge campaign against job creation, public education, entitlements, government, regulations, and health care. They have fought against political power of the people through union busting, the institutions that brought living wages to the country. Christie raised taxes through severe budget cuts for seniors, children's health, women's health, first responders, homeowners, and higher education. Everybody in New Jersey except the plutocratic millionaires, many of whom work in New York and pay no New Jersey income taxes. By those cuts and increased fees, Christie effectively reduced the disposable income of those who represent 50% of our consumer-driven economy. Result? Job creation is suppressed. The land of opportunity now has less upward mobility than France or England or our other industrialized countries, with more and more seats in higher education going to children of the plutocrats. The doors of opportunity are closing on the rest of us. The war is being waged. Christie is the poster boy for the plutocrats. We don't deserve him. He will continue to make things worse for us.
What's this gentleman's name that wrote this article?
David P. Jordan of Edgewater.
Mr. David P. Jordan of Edgewater, New Jersey, I salute you. Here at Progressive Discussions, that was an outstanding article in our local newspaper, The Record, the Bergen County Record. A brilliant article, a very highly intelligent man, to say the least. Thank you for the article. The king, what do you call him? The Chris Christie, the king of the plutocrats. Oh, by the way, did you see that that very clever photo and slogan about Steve Jobs? It says, Steve Jobs did not make your iPad. Kids in China, kids in mainland China made your iPad. It was it was talking about outsourcing to third world countries, which I'm sure that's exactly what goes on. You know, he revolutionized the computer industry, particularly the home use for the computer, right? He invented the mouse. He invented the graphic user interface,
GUI.
The GUI. He invented that. Unlike that funny-looking fuck with the Mo Howard hairdo, Bill Gates, who screwed his way to the top. Steve Jobs was an inventor. He's a brilliant business person, and he started really with nothing, right? Him and his partner started from scratch and defeated
in the garage.
David defeating Goliath. He defeated IBM, and IBM scoffed at him and laughed at him and arrogantly said, how dare you try to take on the great and powerful
Big Blue
and successful Big Blue. And he beat him. And
he's on the new issue of Time magazine.
Yeah. But he's still a capitalist. I mean, he still probably has everything made in third world countries because they're all greedy bastards.
Well, supposedly the wages are rising in those countries, and some companies are thinking of bringing back their factories to America.
So they're getting schmott. The Chinese are getting schmott.
Well,
and maybe even in India. You think that maybe they're unionizing?
That may be next. Who knows? But I don't know about unions in a
over there.
red communist country.
Yeah, well, I'm very glad that, by the way, I'm very glad unions are joining the Occupy Wall Street protesters to give them direction and a solid foundation. But, yeah, so, alrighty.
Speaking of that, that's exactly where we're going next.
You have a nice, juicy Occupy Wall Street.
Unions lent their muscle to the long-running protests against Wall Street and economic inequality on Wednesday.
Now, I did not know Dr. Bill was going to read this article. I just want you to know that I just started talking about it, and lo and behold, that was the next article. I'm serious.
With their members joining thousands of protesters in Lower Manhattan.
Their members?
March as smaller demonstrations flourished across the country.
Yeah.
Protesters in suits and t-shirts with union slogans left work early to march with activists who have been camped out in Zuccotti Park.
What the fuck is that?
I thought it was zucchini there for a minute.
Zucchini? Yeah, I think zucchini sounds better. Zuccotti.
Zuccotti Park.
I would name it Zucchini Park. Or Broccoli Park. I like broccoli. I like cauliflower too. I like Brussels sprout. I like the whole cruciferous vegetable family. I don't care what GW... No, that was Bush Sr. Herbert Walker Bush used to say,
And I hate broccoli.
I hate broccoli.
So do I.
I hate broccoli.
I hate broccoli.
And then they sent him truckloads. No, anyway, you know what?
I hate prime rib. Hey, send me some truckload, man.
Hey, wait a minute. Reverse psychology.
Yeah, exactly.
I despise aged black Angus steak and prime rib. Oh, if you're a politician, yeah, say that. You'll get freebies to last you through the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Apocalyptic food. Oh, by the way, you know what would be a very clever name for a union? I would name it the Onion Union. Try to say that real fast. Onion Union.
Onion Union.
Onion Union. I just thought of that, man. Right off the top of my head. The Onion Union. I can't even say it. The Onion Union. Boing. Next. Continue.
Some marchers brought along their children, hoisting them onto their shoulders as they walked down Broadway. We're here to stop corporate greed. They should pay their fair share of taxes. We're just working and looking for decent lives for our families. Of the camping protesters, he said, we feel kinship with them. We're both looking for the same things. People gathered in front of the courthouses that encircle Foley Square, then marched to Zuccotti Park.
Foley Square? You mean Mick Foley, for the professional wrestler? No. Cactus Jack?
Where they refueled with snacks and hurriedly painted new signs.
Snatch?
Snacks.
Oh, snacks.
As the strong scent of burning sage wafted through the plaza.
You know, sage, a very popular herb used in cooking chicken for some reason, a poultry seasoning. Actually,
some sage potatoes, mashed potatoes.
Sage historically was used to chase away evil spirits. Is that why they're burning sage? To keep the demons away?
Probably.
To drive the demons out? Yeah, if you want to cleanse your home, get some sage and put it in a potpourri burner or something, you know? Sage, right? Or if you're doing chicken, poultry seasoning. But, Zuccotti Park, yeah. I wonder if the NYPD would mace me if I protested with my shillelagh in my hand.
Definitely.
You mean they would mistaken me emphasizing, like me going like this?
They would probably kill you.
What?
They killed Diallo with a wallet? Come on.
Oh, Abdou Diallo. He was home and he put his hands in his pocket looking for his keys, and he had no.
I think it was wallet to show them who he was.
And he had no weapon, and he got like 1,000 bullets from a whole bunch of cops, right?
Yeah.
Oh, real nice. So I guess having a piece of wood like this, a shiny piece of wood,
any kind of weapon that they deem a weapon.
Yeah, well,
The police dean.
the Goldman Sachs highway robber barons, the elitist politicians, Koch brothers. Don't they realize, the NYPD, that these guys, the best therapy for them is to receive the shillelagh up across the skull?
Obviously not, because
The coconut?
business gets away with murder.
Well,
And I'm speaking literally.
the problem is that people are believing the Tea Party lies and they're voting Republican. See, this is the problem. Or the people are mistakenly and foolishly voting two-party system. If you want to really get down deep,
Well,
continue.
the other day,
I
went up to my website, and I put in a little phrase up there because people, getting the money out of politics is a laudable goal, but it will not happen tomorrow.
Hell no.
So until then, the only way to get the money out of politics is to learn to write in a vote.
Right, like the candidacy of the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman.
Correct.
For 2012, the third time, am I correct? The third time he is running for president. The third time. Write-in ballot.
Learn to do it.
You learn that it exists.
Yeah, exactly. Learn that it exists also.
And that you can.
Yeah. The protesters have varied causes, but have spoken largely about unemployment and economic inequality, and reserved most of their criticism for Wall Street. We are the 99%, they chanted, contrasting themselves with the wealthiest 1% of Americans. Susan Hannock, 63, of Manhattan, said she was a child of the 60s and came out to the park for the first time on Wednesday. She held a sign that read, "Enough! It's time for the people to speak up," she said.
Did she wear her flower child hippie dress?
I don't know.
Like she was in Woodstock or something?
Nobody's listening to us. Nobody's representing us. Politics is dead. There is no longer a recognizable democracy. This is a disaster, she said. Some of the union members traveled from other states to march. Karen Higgins, co-president of the National Nurses United, came down with a group of colleagues from Boston.
Yeah.
She said they had seen patients who skipped important medical tests because they can't afford them. No kidding.
I'm surprised with Steve Jobs dying of pancreatic cancer, a 7-year fight that with all of those commercials I see on TV. With
Guess who his doctor
the National Cancer. What is that chain of cancer medical centers specializing in cancer treatment and curing people?
You know what?
Left and right. Huh?
They're not curing them. They're specializing in making it comfortable for their last days.
In other words, do you think that the people that are
Cancer Centers of America.
That's it. Do you think that the testimonies you see on TV might be phony? Might be actors and actresses to get you to go to their...
Steve Jobs had enough money to seek out any doctor or any kind of protocol.
Julian Whitaker and Gary Knoll.
Or how about Dr. Gonzalez in New York?
Who the hell is he?
He's cured pancreatic cancer.
He's an alternative physician. Does he know no?
Absolutely.
No. He knows no, so they're almost like colleagues. Like Carlton Fredericks was almost like a partner to Robert C. Atkins. I think Carlton's office was in the Atkins Center.
Could be.
Yeah, no. I was told by Jackie Rudin, the producer back then, when I met
the money to do it. He didn't do it. Guess who his doctor was?
Who?
Dr. Dean Ornish.
You're kidding me.
The heart man. What the hell's he doing with, pancreatic cancer?
Why is he? Oh gosh. Why is he? Why does he have a famous cardiologist taking care of him if he had pancreatic cancer? He should have had somebody with a track record, like a Gary Null, a Dr. Gonzalez, Julian Whitaker, these guys, with a track record, a successful track record of curing cancer. Gary Null has cured many pancreatic cancer cases, and actually Gary Null supposedly approached
Patrick Swayze,
the late actor Patrick Swayze, and Patrick Swayze blew him off and scoffed at alternative medicine and nutrition.
There you go.
And said, I don't believe in that health food nutrition crap or shit or whatever.
It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you got this ideology in your head, you're dead. You're dead.
You're dead. He wasn't open-minded enough to give it a try.
Correct.
And I read an article a long time ago that there is a substance in ginger, the active ingredient I believe is called ginjol or gingol, that destroys pancreatic cancer cells, just like green tea destroys cancer cells in general. And then you strengthen your immune system. You detox. Take Essiac. Detox your body. Strengthens your immune system.
There's much to do, and there's people who know what they're doing. And like I say, he had the moolah. Yeah. All he had to do was investigate and give it a shot.
Successful protocols that work.
I mean, there's no...
excuse me.
When they say you live for 5 years with cancers or something like that, yeah, you die the 6th year.
Well, you don't have to die the 6th year.
Well, I'm just making the point.
You mean
there's no guarantee. There's no
there's
once
no
you're
guarantee.
taking orthodox medication and treatment, you're gonna die.
Sure.
It's just a matter of time.
And then with the high pressure sales hype, like I showed you that big sign in front of Walgreens and Walmart, pushing every vaccine imaginable. Anyway, how much more of the article do we have?
Quite a bit.
All right, might as well finish.
Some of the union members traveled from other states to march. Oh, I read that, Karen Hickey. Tax Wall Street, she said.
There you go.
Those who make all the money need to start paying their fair share. The Occupy Wall Street protest started September 17th with a few dozen demonstrators tried to pitch tents in front of the New York Stock Exchange. Since then, hundreds have set up camp nearby in Zuccotti Park and have become increasingly organized, lining up medical aid and legal help and printing their own newspaper. Activists have been showing a solidarity with movement in many cities. Occupy Providence, Occupy Los Angeles, Occupied Boise. More than 100 people withstood
Boise,
Idaho.
Where they walk around with Idaho potatoes in their hand? Oh, Boise. They're occupying Boise.
More than 100 people withstood an afternoon downpour in Idaho's capital to protest.
What do the police cars have on the side? Potatoes? Pictures of potatoes? That would be cute, right?
To serve and protect.
To serve. Wait a minute. You get like a cartoon on the side of the police car of the Boise Police Department. You got a cartoon of a baked Idaho potato with sour cream and chives and steam coming out of it, and it says serve, to serve, and protect.
And protect the potato.
Wow. And then if they fail to protect you, they can turn around and say, well, our car does says to serve and protect, but it has a picture of a potato, a cooked potato. So they can get away with not serving you. I am a freaking fun guy. That's why I love mushrooms. I am funny. Am I naturally funny? I don't even rehearse or think of these things the night before. It just comes rolling out of me. Oh, Boise, serve and protect. You know, Salem, Massachusetts, which I know well, they have a witch on a broomstick on the side of their police cars. I'm not exaggerating.
You're proud of it?
and they're friggin' proud of it. Well, that's their tourism, you know, the whole.
Oh yeah, you can make a joke about it today.
New Age,
What about the
witches,
people they
occult.
killed for religious reasons?
You should see the people drunk out of their minds littering and trampling the Salem, Massachusetts cemetery, throwing their crap, their empty bottles of beer and soda and everything on the ground, litter, people trampling the graves. It's really a sin. It's really sad how tourism, the pursuit of money and ill-gotten gains, just rival all, logical thought and morality and just, manners and common sense. It's like, this is your devil's economics in America. This is your free market capitalism, you jabronis out there that believe in the Tea Party lies. These are the people you vote for last November. Dummy. Like Red Fox used to call Lamont on Sanford and Son, you dummies. Go ahead.
Anyway, even a Judy Taylor came with that Idaho protest. A retired property manager. I want change. I'm tired of things being taken away from those that need help, she said.
Tell that to Chris Christie, too.
In Seattle, at least 4 demonstrators who had been camping out since the weekend in a downtown park were arrested after they refused orders from city park rangers to pack up. The reception was warmer in Los Angeles, where the city council approved a resolution of support, and Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa's office distributed 100 rain ponchos to activists at another days-long demonstration.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't ask me to pronounce his name, but
No,
that was nice of him.
In Boston, hundreds of nurses and Northwestern University students rallied together to condemn what they called corporate control of government and the spiraling costs of their education.
Now you see how this is spreading? A positive pandemic?
But you must understand something.
What must I understand?
Mr. Eric Cantor,
Related to Eddie?
second in line in the House under Mr. Boehner,
Fuck them.
called it a mob. And he's afraid of the violence. Did you hear any of that kind of talk from the Republicans about the Tea Party?
Yeah.
Who were carrying signs of Obama lynched,
And
AK-47s on their backs.
Sarah nailing booty call Palin
Yeah.
with her boyfriend on the side,
With the-
talking about, what did she say?
Gifford in the sights, lock and load.
Lock and load.
Yeah.
And what about that nut? Did you see the videos that Basil Marceau from Tennessee?
The guy must have been drunk.
Brother Basil, he wants to round up, just like in Alabama, this insane law that I hope Washington puts a stop to. They want to round up everybody with tanned or brown skin that looks Latin, even if you're born and raised in the United States and you're not Mexican. They want to deport you to Mexico anyway.
You gotta have your papers.
Basil wants to send you, if you're not Caucasian or Asian, he wants to send your ass to Mexico, and then if you have ID, you can come back in. What nerve is it? That's racism.
No kidding.
That's racial profiling, man.
But Mr. Marceau looked drunk to me. Or either he's a half-wit.
What about
One or the other.
when Brother Basil Marceau said that his answer to the environment is to take every vacant lot and plant vegetation to make ethanol and use prisoners from prison to make the ethanol, like a fucking brewery?
But he did want to pay them. And put up a trust fund for them.
Oh,
So when they get out, they'll have something, instead of what, $20?
they'll be certified.
Bus ticket or
They'll
whatever.
be certified ethanol ethanol experts. They'll be they'll have diplomas in ethanol making.
Or gathering. planting.
I think Basil.
Agribusiness.
Yeah, aggravation business. I think brother Basil Marceau, Basil
Maybe he's
Marceau.
smoking basil.
I think Basil Marceau wants to produce more than ethanol. I think Basil Marceau has got some moonshine stills in the back of his ethanol plant and making some whiskey, some corn whiskey, some moonshine, white lightning, whatever you want to call it. And I think Mr. Basil Marceau is going to be the official moonshine taster for his ethanol plant.
He probably wants an ethyl alcohol plant.
Ethyl alcohol. For those of you that do not know what the hell we're talking about, go to YouTube and type in Basil Marceau of Tennessee. He ran
watch
for
his video.
He ran for the governor of Tennessee. I'm glad you appreciated his natural humor, because I think he was dead serious.
He may be dead serious, but
He didn't get elected though. I could picture scary Dickie Perry, Rick Perry, and Basil Marceau as his running mate,
oh my God.
and then Secretary of State Chris Christie. Could you imagine all three of them on the same ticket? That will speed up the end times. Accelerate the end times.
Many
Just
nanoseconds.
much worse than 8 years of G.W. Bush. We have to take a break because it's time for lunch for Dr. Bill. Okay, we're back. Right now, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, my co-host and mentor, is partaking in his gastronomic delight known as lunch, which will be followed by high green tea. I know I say that every week, but it's too bad. Hey, how'd you like my new red velvet fedora that I wore last Saturday? Pretty sharp, huh? It looked very colorful on the internet, on video. Very rich. I'm very glad that I have my second hat, which, God willing, if things work out, with D2W Pro Wrestling. We will be starting our Time Warner TV tape show this October 22nd, 2011 at the Wallkill Valley High School in Hamburg, New Jersey. And I will wear my other hat as a prop, the black one. I will save the red one for another time. But anyway, you know what I read recently? I mean, you know, and I know, and everybody knows that I do health talk. Now, I was reading an article about bioflavonoids, about polyphenol bioflavonoids in fruits and vegetables and nuts, seeds, and their tremendous health benefit, particularly their antioxidant power. Very high on the ORAC score. And then I continued reading, and they had a lot of wonderful, very impressive things to say about quercetin. And quercetin is a building block, a precursor, a building block to many other important bioflavonoids. And I did not know that the body manufactures many important flavonoids, or can make many important flavonoids from quercetin. I didn't know that it was that basic and important of a bioflavonoid. And the richest source of quercetin is the allium family, garlic,
Onions.
and onions. Garlic is probably the highest. I didn't realize that. So if I took a concentrated garlic oil in soft gel form, I will most likely be getting the allicin in garlic and a lot of quercetin, I imagine. Because quercetin isolated is not a cheap, inexpensive supplement. Not really.
No.
It's cheaper than it was. But I know you're a big fan of quercetin.
Well, I get 90 capsules. Quercetin bioflavonoids.
Now, what made quercetin famous is the fact that it is a very, very effective antihistamine.
Yes.
A natural antihistamine, ideal for allergy sufferers, which includes asthma, because asthma is an allergy. And people don't realize that sinusitis is also an allergy. It's not just hay fever. Achoo, achoo, achoo. Tears coming out of your eye. Watery eyes, itchy eyes. Runny nose. It's not just that. It could be congestion. And quercetin is probably the best natural antihistamine, especially when you take it with vitamin C. So I would take optimal levels of C. Okay, promo time. I say this all the time, every week, but you know what? It is what it is. This gentleman next to me is a self-portrait, a watercolor self-portrait of my mentor and co-host, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is a fine watercolor artist. You can see the William J. Eisenman collection of fine watercolor art by going to the William J. Eisenman Facebook profile and checking out the album, or going to newslettercensor.com. And if you see something you like, drop them a line, send them an email, and if it's available, the bidding starts at $500 each. The William J. Eisenman collection. There is a William J. Eisenman slideshow over on the internet and YouTube to very nice sounding Caribbean steel drum songs. So check it out. The whole entire William J. Eisenman collection is in the slideshow to music so far, until he paints another few or several, I guess several. Then I'll redo it and I'll add those. So now, what was I going to say?
Newsletter.
Yes, before the newsletter.
Brandy new.
Oh, that's right. Hot off the pancake griddle. We got a brand new newsletter censored.
And it ain't waffling.
Huh?
And it ain't waffling.
Here we go. We were enjoying Au Naturel the whole time, and it is always some big-mouthed dog or person or kids to ruin it. Here it is, volume number 117. This is the backbone of our entire organization. Censored, titled The Devil's Economics. How appropriate to what we talk about. It gets right to the nitty-gritty. The Devil's Economics by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D. Powerful. Get it right now. The best way to be a part of our organization, the very best way to support this organization and join this organization, the very backbone of this organization, is to get your free annual subscription to Censored with your gift to support this work. Go to newslettercensor.com. Click on the printable order form, and with your gift to support this work, get your free annual subscription. Brand new. Hot off the pancake griddle. Alright. It's a big one, so there's no room for tidbits. Correct, sir?
Letter.
But there is a letter.
A letter of criticism.
See,
criticizing.
This is rare.
This nation was never a Christian nation. This country.
Yeah, there was a previous newsletter censored issue was titled "This country was never a Christian nation," more or less. And this man was like one of those either poor or middle class people defending the Tea Party, trying to find fault, in your progressive article.
It seems his problem was against Mr. Obama, which was never even mentioned in the article.
No, I think a lot of people, even if it has nothing to do with the issue at hand, I think a lot of people are going after Mr. Obama unjustly. You think maybe because he's black?
I think so.
You think there's some racism involved here? Because they tried to use Barack Obama unfairly as a scapegoat. And it's not his fault, because he has to get everything approved by Congress and Senate. He's not dictator Obama. that can make a decision and say, listen, Weeper of the House, John Boehner, nah, it ain't gonna fly. What you Republicans are talking about, nah, ain't gonna fly. I'm vetoing it. It's gonna go my way, the progressive way. That's it. Boom. End of discussion. We're gonna have a public option to health care. The rich are gonna pay all the taxes. Boom. That's it. Lock, stock, and barrel. No, he has to get approval. So to go after Obama for every little thing, to me, I think that it's underlying racism.
Well, this particular gentleman has a problem with Obama calling him a socialist.
Well,
Obama is a corporatist, just like
Bill Clinton.
Just like Bill Clinton,
Corporatist.
like Ronald Reagan,
He's
just like H.W. Bush, just like G.W. Bush.
He's a businessman. Everybody in the two-party system is a corporatist and a business person. Even Nancy Pelosi is a business person, right?
Mm-hmm.
To some degree. And people are such political morons in this country. You know, but anyway, he goes on, you know, rambling on, trying to put the blame on Obama. And just like Donald Trump, the idiot, he's not an idiot, he's actually very shrewd and very smart. The guy with the cheap Dennis the Menace hairstyle.
So is the devil.
Huh?
So is the devil.
Satan, the father of all lies, is brilliant. But he was going on a tangent, accusing Obama of not being an American citizen and possibly being born in Kenya. He went on and on about it, and it ended up that he really did not want to run for president after all. But anyway, he just, you know, doesn't want to pay taxes.
Yeah.
He's an elitist. That's the problem he has with Obama. The rich don't want to pay any taxes at all. You know, but then again, they'll give wealth fare to the corporations in Wall Street bailouts, and they'll also, for some reason, they like to keep a very high, overly bloated military budget, which will solve the whole deficit problem and the poor and the homeless and everything else. If you trimmed down the military, and what about all the wasted money, the trillions on Afghanistan and Iraq? In Iraq and Afghanistan, what about all that wasted money?
Not only on the war.
Somebody called me a pacifist for revealing the wasted money on the wars.
Well, Mr. Donald Rumsfeld himself called attention to the $2.3 trillion money that the Pentagon cannot account for. So that figure now is more.
So we're a pacifist for wanting to save the lives of young men and women, possibly who came from poor neighborhoods, or prevent their legs from getting blown off, to stop them from dying for war profiteering. We're pacifists.
It's like Mr. Mitt Romney said the other day that Obama does not want the United States to be strong. So if you want me for president, I want the United States to be strong.
So you need to pour trillions of dollars into the military?
No, you don't need to at all. No.
Well, you think maybe these politicians, these Republicans, are getting a lot of moolah from the corporations that make weapons?
Yeah.
You think they own stock in the corporations that make weapons?
Nah.
Do you think their palms are getting greased very heavily by the corporations that make weapons? Possibly. Yeah. But anyway, last but not least, we have The God Project by William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity. And this is where William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity, tells you what the Bible really has to say, and not what right-wing fundamentalist counterfeit Christians who try to rewrite the Bible tell you what the Bible says. This is what the Bible really has to say, and you can listen to what the Bible really says every Sunday on our hard-hitting Mega Life 21 Internet Talk radio station, Sunday starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until we change the schedule. It used to be called The God Project, but I thought it hits hard a lot better by naming it What the Bible Really Says. That's the name of it, What the Bible Really Says. And I'm not putting it under soapbox any longer. Everything is going under talk show information, under talk show in the genre, no more soapbox. Because I think when people over at the Pirate Radio Network see the genre called soapbox, it makes it sound like you're bitching and moaning and crying and ranting and raving. It trivializes what we talk about. So I thought maybe that we should just keep it under information in the talk show genre.
They don't have a genre of religion?
They do, but they have it in under soapbox. Politics and religion is under soapbox, according to the Pirate Radio Network. Why is it a soapbox to talk about politics and religion? Oh, I suppose being a DJ is important, and playing music is important. I suppose, guess what the top several radio stations are on the Pirate Radio Network? They're all right-wing fundamentalists, holy roller, evangelical talk shows. Isn't that amazing how...
That's how it is in the regular terrestrial radio station.
Isn't it amazing in America in general, if you're a holy roller, evangelical, getting funky and doing a moonwalk and hitting a tambourine and having your arms up in the air and go making believe you're speaking in tongues when it's nothing but idiotic babble, right away you get tip-top ratings. Tip-top ratings, Or if you have a little cutie pie video on YouTube, you get millions of ratings. Or if you have a stupid song for children, you get millions of ratings. Or if you have a stupid college kid jackass, farts and burps, you get a lot of ratings. And of course, if you're, music industry person, you get a lot of ratings. But if you have something important to say on YouTube, you don't have that many hits. It's amazing. Anyway, last but not least, I guess it's here somewhere. Here we go. Sexuality, A Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D. Sexuality, A Holistic Approach. Very, very deep. Very, very deep segment of the newsletter. If you get my drift, Dr. Bill. All right. You want me to show the other thing? 2000? Or no? Keep it. Keep it.
Keep it clean with energy.
Back burner. Keep it on the back burner.
Separate issue.
Yeah. Somebody before I left to come here, somebody rang my doorbell, representing a company that puts in, like Anderson type windows, insulation windows, which will save you money on fuel, which actually it's true. It's true. Good modern windows, high quality windows will save you money because it prevents the drafts from coming in.
Triple ply, I think it is.
In the winter, and it probably does the same thing in the summer. Keeps that hazy, hot, and humid air out. But I told it a story about my friend Iron Man Vinnie Blake, who tried to take part in the green movement and have solar panels put on his roof, and lo and behold, the city of Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, said if you put solar panels on your roof, we will raise your property taxes. Shame on you, politicians, for penalizing a person for wanting to take part in the green movement.
I don't know what it was, but the other day,
yeah,
I received a phone call.
Yeah.
In Espanol.
Okay.
Dealing with some kind of property tax relief.
Yeah.
And like I say, I don't know what it was. but I'm sure it's not some gift from Mr. Christie.
You think there's a catch in there somewhere?
I don't know. It was in Espanol. I knows hablo.
A gift from Mr. Chris Christie.
Hey, I can see it now.
Look the gift horse in the mouth this time. Look the gift horse in the mouth.
The political cartoonists are going to have a ball with Christie.
Sure, he's getting fatter
at Christmas time.
He's fatter than ever. Oh, you mean he? Well, he has the rotund body of a Santa Claus,
yeah,
with the personality of a Grinch.
Yeah, exactly.
He is an ogre. He's an ogre. I would have a field day if I was a cartoonist. Could you imagine the funny political satires I could do with Christie? I could have Kris
Kringle
barbecuing the homeless on a rotisserie with an apple in their mouth.
As Halloween.
There you go. As a solution to the homeless problem. I think that's what a Republican like Chris Christie, who's very well fed. I think that's the solution he would choose.
Exactly.
Anyway, back to the articles. We have a good solid 30 minutes of article reading.
Well, we got to finish up this Occupy Wall Street article.
Oh, I thought you finished.
Oh no.
But you better see where you left off, Chief.
Oh no.
See where you left off.
Okay, the students banged on drums made of water jugs and chanted, "Banks got bailed out and we got sold out."
Is that where you left off? Okay, it's right.
This is an organic process. This is a process of grassroots people coming together. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful morning.
Many of those protesting are college students. Hundreds walked out of classes in New York.
But not all college students.
Some in a show of solidarity for the Wall Street movement, but many more concerned with worries closer to home. Protests were scheduled at State University of New York, campuses including Albany, Buffalo, Binghamton, New Paltz, and Purchase. Binghamton.
Binghamton? That's Binghamton. Purchase? Where's that, New York or New Jersey?
New York.
Purchase. How was, there's a lot of retail stores in Purchase? Why do they call it Purchase?
Has to go back.
You know, it could be worse.
Time.
It could be worse. It could be Coxsackie, New York, which is an actual town near Woodstock. I'm serious. I would be embarrassed to tell people I'm from Coxsackie, New York. Can you imagine the police cars having Coxsackie PD on the side?
Danielle Kingsbury, a 21-year-old senior from New Paltz, said she walked out of an American literature class to show support for some of her professors, who she said have had their workloads increased because of budget cuts. The state of education in our country is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The state doesn't care about it, and we need to fight back about that. Some protesters in New York were recent graduates looking for work, including Rochelle Sousa, or Suissa, who held up a sign that read, "I have a 4.0 GPA and 20,000 in debt. Where's my bailout?"
That's right. Did you see that other sign? It said, if you see things are really messed up in this country, if you see librarians march.
Oh yeah,
that was cute.
That's right.
But anyway, yeah. Where's my bailout? How come there's no bailout for the little guy? Never.
You know, there was this gentleman who appeared on the Gary Knowles show the other day. He was part of those sent to Iraq to improve the country after the invasion with $63 billion.
Improve the country. I wonder what kind of advice they want to give them. They want to turn them into corporatists?
I wouldn't care to weigh in on that at the moment, because my problem is where the 63 billion went and where it could have gone in the United States of America.
What about the billions that went to Pakistan? Meanwhile, Pakistan is harboring and supporting Al Qaeda, right?
Yeah, and what is it, the Haqqani network?
Yeah, whatever. So I don't understand. I don't understand these politicians
Well, as
we
the
have.
Bible says, America buys its lovers
Like a whore.
like a whore.
So in other words, there's money for other countries that are not really our friends. There's billions of dollars for them. But there's no money for the poor, for the homeless. According to Chris Christie, there's not enough money for soup kitchens and food pantries that give you garbage anyway. There's no money for Planned Parenthood. There's no money for homestead rebates for handicapped people and senior citizens.
Nope.
There's no money for welfare.
But there's tax breaks for the wealthy.
But there's tax breaks for the wealthy
and
there's
corporations.
and corporations
that don't provide jobs.
that do not provide jobs in the United States. And there's millions and billions for our enemies abroad. But there's nothing for Americans in need.
Nope.
Actually, the reason why you have so many Americans in need with the super duper high unemployment rate is because of our political whore career politicians that we have in the two-party system. There you go. What do you think of them apples?
The 25-year-old Brooklyn woman said she has applied for at least 200 jobs and is finding it difficult to remain optimistic.
Wow.
I don't understand what's going on here, she said. Would you like to hear what Mr. Kane and Mr. Romney have said about the Occupy Wall Street protests?
I'm going to take a wild guess and say it wasn't positive.
Well, you would be right on the money with that. Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain on Wednesday called the Occupy Wall Street protesters anti-American and anti-capitalistic.
Oh, so it's better to starve to death and be homeless and cease to exist and be called a patriot by Republicans than to fight for what's right, to fight for your rights in a democracy, you know, as a human being. And then, you know, I'd rather fight for my rights and be called a traitor by Republicans.
Don't be jealous. Don't be envious, Cain said, as he signed copies of his memoir.
Oh, like all the riches of the elitists in this country are earned income, is hard-earned income. Oh, is that what he's getting at? That they are
Not when they're paying 17 and 18% on it, because that means it's capital gains. It's unearned.
Silver spoon is more like it.
I don't have much patience for someone who does not want to achieve their American dream the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, how? How? If the economy is in the shit, is in the shits, in the crapper,
shitter,
and the job market is overseas, and there's no money to spend to put back into the economy. People don't have any surplus cash anymore.
Well, that's because Mr. Cain.
How are they supposed to succeed? Well, what is his solution?
Well, Mr. Cain can talk that way because he has succeeded.
Which means these conservatives that are wealthy and can afford the best of everything don't care about those that don't have it.
Correct.
So it is not their problem. Therefore, they don't care if you don't have anything.
Mr. Cain.
Very nice way to live.
I don't know if he's still involved with it, but he had Godfather's Pizza.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of Subways franchise.
Oh, that crap. Yeah.
So, I mean, he doesn't have to worry
$5
about it.
foot long, $5 foot long. They probably have the lettuce sticking out 6 inches on both sides to make it a foot. So, you know, he has it. He don't want anybody else to have any of it. He's greedy. He don't want to pay any taxes. And if you're poor and living in a cardboard box and, you know, you don't have anything to eat, you shouldn't complain. You shouldn't protest.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It's interesting how their minds work, huh?
If you make a slight improvement to that cardboard box, they'll probably charge you property taxes.
What if you took a bunch of cardboard refrigerator boxes
Made condos?
and glued them together? Does that mean it's a condo?
Yeah.
And if you had it in one place long enough, would you start getting junk mail delivered? There you go.
More than 400 people attended the event. The former head of Godfather's Pizza pulled up in front of the Barnes & Noble bookstore in a black luxury bus. And he entered the store to cheers and applause. The protesters are basically saying that somehow the government is supposed to take from those that have succeeded and give to those who want to protest, Kane said. That's not the way America was built.
So America was built on selfishness and greed and ill-gotten gains since they believe in deregulation of companies.
Correct. Former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney, also a GOP presidential contender.
The greedy old party.
Greedy old party, correct. Called the protest class warfare.
Oh, we're picking on the poor, wealthy elitists because they somehow think that they worked so hard to get what they have. Oh, bullshit.
At an appearance at a Florida retirement community, he brushed aside any further talk of the protest during a brief stop Wednesday in Tallahassee.
A Florida retirement community, which contains people living on a fixed income, perhaps, Social Security, perhaps, most likely, the very program that Republicans want to eliminate. So he has the nerve to visit the Florida retirement community. Interesting.
I'm just trying to occupy the White House, he said.
Yeah, that's all he wants to do is occupy it. He doesn't want to do anything once he gets there.
Oh yeah, I'm not a Republican. I got to do nothing.
Occupy it. That's all they do is occupy it. You know.
A little change of scene.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It sounds like a horror movie. Biting ants invade by the millions.
The hairy tropical ants of South America. Esmeralda was telling me all about them. She knows them well. They have somehow reached Mexico, maybe?
They're here.
They're in the Americas South.
Yeah.
They're very ferocious and
Florida, Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana.
and they're hairy, and they don't want they don't ask for electrolysis or anything. They're hairy. They have a hairy problem, and they're savage and they're relentless. Right? All right, go ahead, read it.
A camper's metal walls bulge from the pressure of ants nesting behind them. A circle of poison stops them for only a day. And then a fresh horde shows up, bringing babies. Stand in the yard, and in seconds ants cover your shoes.
You know what? The protesters should be that successful in Occupy Wall Street.
It's an extreme example of what can happen when the ants, which also can disable huge industrial plants, go unchecked. Controlling them can cost thousands of dollars. But the story is real, told by someone who's been studying ants for a decade. Months later, I could close my eyes and see them moving, said Joe McGowan. who curates the ant, mosquito, and scarab collections at the Mississippi State Entomological Museum.
Mosquitoes?
At
He's
Mississippi
fascinated with mosquitoes?
State
Or he's studying how to get rid of them?
University.
Oh.
He's been back to check on the hairy ants. They're still around. The occupant isn't. The flea-sized critters are called crazy because each forager scrambles randomly at a speed that your average picnic ant, marching one by one, reaches only in video fast forward.
You know what? I think New Zealand has an ant that can kill you. It's venom. If they bite you, it can kill you, yeah. So be lucky they're not them.
They're called hairy because of fuzz that, to the naked eye, makes the abdomens look less glossy than those of their slower, bigger cousins. And they're on the move in Florida, Texas, Mississippi, and Louisiana.
So Florida didn't have enough problems with the introduction of the Burmese pythons and
Other exotic.
other pestilence that ends up in Florida, and now you have the giant African land snails that contain a parasite that causes meningitis. Meningitis is a bacterial infection, I think.
Of the brain.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. So now, people brought them there and released them. Real smart people.
In Texas,
Now you got hairy ants.
they've invaded homes and industrial complexes, urban areas and rural areas. They travel in cargo containers,
There you go.
hay bales, potted plants, motorcycles, and moving vans.
Yeah, and once you start to kill a few of them, they give off some kind of pheromone or some kind of hormone, and then the whole colony just attacks at once, something like that.
They overwhelm beehives. One Texas beekeeper was losing 100 a year in 2009.
Wow.
They short out industrial equipment. If one gets electrocuted, its death releases a chemical cue
There you
to
go.
attack and a threat to the colony.
You mean when one gets killed at it?
Yeah, and it brings together the whole bunch to protect the colony. The other ants rush in. Before long, you have a ball of ants. A computer system controlling pipeline valves shorted out twice in about 35 days. But monthly treatments there now keep the bugs at bay, said exterminator Tom Raspberry, who found the first Texas specimens of the species in Houston in 2002.
So killer bees and now hairy ants. First killer bees, now hairy ants.
We're kind of going for overkill on that particular site because so much is at stake. If that shuts down, they could literally shut down an entire chemical plant that costs millions of dollars.
Wow.
And compared to other ants, these need overkill. For instance, if 100,000 are killed by pesticides, millions more will follow. I did a test site with a product early on and applied the product to a half acre. In 30 days, I had 2 inches of dead ants covering the entire half acre. The ants are probably native to South America. But
Wow.
they were recorded in the Caribbean by the late 19th century. That's how they got the nickname Caribbean Crazy Ants.
Caribbean crazy ants, yeah. Loco ants, and they kill the fire ants. from what I
Vita Loca. They're doing the Vita
La
Loca.
Vida Loca, but they kill the fire ants.
They've also become known as raspberry crazy ants after the extermination.
Oh, I bet he's proud.
Now,
Naming the ants after him.
they are making their way through parts of the southeast. Florida had the ants in about 5 counties in 2000, but today it's up to 20 counties. 9 years after first being spotted in Texas, that state now has them in 18 counties. So far, they have been found in 2 counties in Mississippi and 1 in a Louisiana parish.
Wow. I wonder if they're edible, as in chocolate-covered ants.
Oh boy.
Louisiana. I wonder if Louisiana, being that insects are the food of the future, the protein source of the future, I wonder if they're edible. I wonder if you could make a Louisiana deep-fried Cajun spiced
Just throw
hairy
them,
ant.
Just throw them in the gumbo. You got everything else in there.
Gumbo?
Yeah.
Okra. Well, the okra, the flavor of the okra will cover up the ants, right? A lot of people hate okra because it's
Yeah,
slimy.
okra.
I eat okra. I eat okra. I mean, a lot of people thought very highly of okra. I mean, look at the Okra Winfrey's mom named her Okra, right?
Oprah.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake.
Okra.
Anyway,
An analysis
an analysis.
of 2-million-year-old bones found in South Africa offers the most powerful case so far in identifying the transitional figure that came before modern humans. Findings that some are calling a potential game changer in understanding evolution. The bones are from Australopithecus sediba. The research places that pre-human branch of the evolutionary tree as the best candidate to be the ancestor of the human line. The bones found in 2008 in the fossil-rich cave region of Malapa near Johannesburg show a head to foot combination of features of Australopithecus and the human genus Homo. It's as if evolution is caught in one vital moment, a stop-action snapshot of evolution in action. Scientists have long considered the Australopithecus family, which includes the famous fossil Lucy, to be a candidate for an early human ancestor. The new research establishes a creature that combines features of both groups. The journal published 5 papers detailing the findings, including separate reports on the foot, hand, pelvis, and brain.
Good goobly-goo.
This gentleman, Mr. Berger, said the brain, hand, and foot have characteristics of both modern and early pre-human forms that show a transition underway. It represents a bona fide model that could lead to the genus Homo.
Insane to the membrane, insane to the brain. Well, that was a song back in the 80s, I believe.
Australopithecus sediba is small,
Oh, really?
like that of a chimpanzee.
Wow. What do you mean? A baby chimp? Not a full-grown chimp.
But with a configuration more human, particularly with an expansion behind and above the eyes.
Okay.
This seems to be evidence that the brain was reorganizing along more modern lines before it began its expansion to the current larger size. It will take a lot of scrutiny of the papers and of the fossils by more and more researchers over the coming months and years, but these analyses could well be game changers in understanding human evolution. So does all this mean Australopithecus sediba was the missing link? Scientists don't like that term. This is a good candidate to represent the evolution of humans, he said, but the earliest definitive example of a homo is 150,000 to 200,000 years younger.
Wow.
Scientists prefer the terms transition form or intermediary form. This is what evolutionary theory would predict. This mixture of Australopithecine and Homo. But it's not yet an example of the genus Homo, though it could have led to several early human forms, including Homo habilis, Homo rudolfensis, or Homo erectus.
Erectus.
Standing on 2 feet.
Oh, okay.
All considered early, distant cousins to man. Homo sapiens. The fossil provides the first chance for researchers to evaluate the function of a full hand this old. The researchers reported that the fingers of Australopithecus sediba were curved, as might be seen in a creature that climbed in trees. But they also are slim, and the thumb was long, more like a homo thumb. So the hand was potentially capable of using tools. And there is a picture of the hand.
I mean, I would have made a few jokes during this article, but it would have sucked up valuable time.
It's a very serious article.
Oh,
Very serious.
okay, all right,
Very serious.
all right, yeah, real serious. Yeah. Anyway, am I? We getting a good bird's eye view, or no?
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you got a good view of it,
Okay,
but
okay.
all right. That's the hand.
All right, talk to the hand.
Yeah, talk to the hand. Now, do you have a small but, excuse me, a small but very fascinating article
No.
that you could bang out? None.
No.
Okay. Thank you for joining us for Progressive Discussions. I think I could be wrong.
89.
Oh, you smart, man. 89. 89? So this is Progressive Discussions number 89. Which means we did 89. Anyway, get your brand new issue of Newsletter Censored. Hot off the press. Okay, volume number 117, titled The Devil's Economics. It just came out. The very best way to be a part of this organization, the best way to join this organization, is to get your annual subscription. Feel free also to join the Mega Life 21 Newsletter Censored Facebook page, and it is open, it is completely viewable by the public. You do not have to log in, you do not have to be a member of Facebook to see the page. Great photo gallery, okay, of past events and important people to us. Links, all the links you need are there also. It virtually can be a website unto itself, but it's not our only website, naturally. But everything's there. you can read all about our organization. And of course, the most important thing is to go to newslettercensored.com. A gentleman from Time Warner, Mr. J. Ortiz, no, not J. Ortiz, I'm sorry. One of the camera people said, don't even say www, because now, if you type it in, if you went online and you typed in newslettercensored.com, newsletter sent the HTTP blah blah blah, the www would appear automatically, or should.
That may for him, but it does not with my IE.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it does that for me with Mozilla Firefox.
No, I don't use that except to play chess.
I
I'm
have
getting aggravated because there's always a connection interruption. And I'm losing games.
I have absolutely no problems whatsoever with the upgraded Mozilla Firefox. I love it.
Yeah, which
It's
number?
It's lightning fast.
Which number is it?
How the fuck do I know? They're upgrading it.
Four, I think it's 4 something.
No,
But every time I
no.
Yeah.
It's upgraded. It's upgraded many times over that, I think.
Over 4?
Yeah.
Because every time I'm on chess, 3.6 comes up and wants me to download it.
Listen,
I'm way past 3.6.
I periodically visit at least once or twice a week filehippo.com to make sure I am current, that I am up to date on all the programs that I use, all of the free programs that I use. And I'm always upgrading on Mozilla because Mozilla is my browser of choice. I could download movies, save them. I have no problems. But when I use Internet Explorer, nothing but trouble. Nothing but aggravation. Now, Mozilla has 3-dimensional games. Now, whether or not those games are free, I don't know. But now they've been advertising 3D games, so it might be worth looking into. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Progressive Discussions number 89. What it's going to be called, it might have something to do with Occupy Wall Street and what the Republicans were saying. Of course, I like to squeeze Chris Christie's name in there. You can't squeeze Chris Christie really easily into anything, but he's a plutocrat.
Maybe a tent.
He won't have any room to do much of anything when he's in the tent, but maybe a circus tent. If Chris Christie was homeless, a circus
his
tent.
Latest cartoon?
Which one?
Right there.
Hold on. This?
Yeah.
This is a Chris Christie cartoon?
Yes.
Really?
That's Marilyn Monroe, that.
Oh boy. Hold on. Now, for me to show this, I have to do honors to the man who made it.
Mr. Margolis.
Okay, hold on. Let me put my reading glasses on. Okay. Bergen Record editorial cartoonist Jimmy Margulies. Margulies, maybe. Margolis is off. He's off? I don't know. Anyway, here is a cartoon of Chris Christie dressed like Marilyn Monroe. And, of course, it says Christie on his stomach. And one leg, it says, no, seriously. And the other leg, it says, I'm not running for president. And then out of his mouth, it says, got the picture yet, boys? I don't get it, but anyway.
Well, it's a tease, Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, okay. So another.
Remember when she was over that?
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Or
no, when she was standing over
I heard she was
from what the hell? Down below.
I heard she was married.
Subway. And the wind comes up through the thing and blows up her dress.
I heard when she did that, she was married to Joe DiMaggio.
They didn't like it.
And Joe DiMaggio got pissed off because he was kind of old-fashioned.
Yeah, well, that's what it was.
Anyway,
it was a tease.
Am I in front of the camera with the cartoon?
He's teasing. Yeah.
All right, got it. Chris Christie. Chris Christie provides more material for political satire cartoonist than any other politician because he's a big target.
Very, very big.
No pun intended. He's a big target. All right. He's a big target. And I guess so are all the buffets big targets.
Buffoons.
Buffoons. Well, the buffoons are the ones who vote for people like Chris Christie. Those are the buffoons, the middle class and the po folk that vote Republican and believe the Tea Party lies. Those are the real buffoons. But anyway, thank you for joining us. Hi-oo. Say so long to everybody.
So long.